AFL history is not on the side of Dean Cox as he enters his first season as senior coach of the Sydney Swans. He inherits a team that seemingly is always in contention and has a group of superstars that at their best obliterated teams in 2024. On paper, it is as good a job opening as a first-time coach can get, but the last game of 2024 was not good. A 60-point demolition at the hands of Brisbane on the biggest stage. The game was over by halftime and left the Swans shattered, and when you throw in 3 previous grand final defeats, the grand final monkey is well and truly on the club's back. We hear the AFL clubs who are defeated heavily in grand finals going into a new season often struggle. So how bad are the seasons after for these teams? And is there any hope Sydney can return to the last day of September in 2025? Dean Cox decided to open the wounds in an attempt to hopefully close them up and learn from them. He revealed this to AFL.com. In relation to reviewing the grand final loss, he said, "It was something we had to do. We spent all day doing it. We moved our training session because we needed to address it. The way to go forward is to look at it, and the players were fantastic through that. To be open and honest and review it like we normally would was really important for this football club going forward." The training session for the day was moved, and in total, the review process took 7.5 hours. An hour of that was given just to the first minute. It's a great insight by Cox, who has made it clear the approach him and his staff are taking with their players. They are using the grand final to learn lessons and hopefully apply them to this upcoming season. Cox knows how delicate a situation he is in and how quickly things can fall apart after a heartbreaking loss. This has been the similar story of all those who got blown out in grand finals. In recent times, go through the examples and you will see the teams get nowhere slowly and struggle even more in finals. Sure, there are always unique circumstances, but the trend is blatantly clear. Sydney in 2022 got blown away by Geelong and didn't manage to get to a 2023 elimination final but lost. 2021, the Western Bulldogs got mauled by Melbourne and blew a 40-point lead to Fremantle in the 2022 elimination final. And the Swans again lost to Hawthorn by 63 points in 2014. They made finals the following year, actually finishing top 4, but ended up going in straight sets. These are some of the best results following severe grand final trauma. At worst, these heavy grand final losses can completely wreck your club. Adelaide is the most well documented example. After a 46-point loss to Richmond in 2017, the Crows went on that infamous camp. We all know the events. Blindfolding players, blaring music, bizarre rituals, and some culturally offensive activities. The idea to build up mental fortitude from the loss was there, but those in charge did it unsuccessfully. It led to Don Pike leaving in 2019, along with a handful of assistants, and many senior members of the playing group departed then and soon after. Adelaide are yet to make it back to finals football. The same thing happened a decade before to their crosstown rivals. A 119-point loss to Geelong in 2007 that psychologically wrecked the Port Adelaide Football Club and many of its players. Kane Corns, who played on that day, told his story of mentoring and then up-and-coming Travis Boak about what his experience of the week leading into the grand final would be. So we went through in 2007 and I went up to Travis Boak and said, "Boaky, this will be the best thing, the best week in your life." Turns out I was lying because it was one of the worst days, and the emotional scars and impact of losing that grand final in 2007 probably set the club back 5 or 6 years, and some of the players never recovered from the performance on that day. The Power fell to 13th in 2008 and had to wait until Ken Hinkley's first season in charge which was 2013, to play another finals game. And even GWS, after their 2019 grand final loss, barely got afloat the following year and won just 8 out of their 17 games. The furthest the team has got the following season, after a 40+ point loss in the grand final, was the semi-final stage by Sydney in 2015. No side has made a prelim or even sniffed another grand final appearance in the 2000s. But with most of the negativity out of the way, how can the Swans defy history? Well, Dean Cox himself is a great starting point. Although he was a senior assistant for many years, his emergence as a new coach resets the bar for a lot of the Sydney players. They need to reprove themselves to earn a spot in the team, and that can only be a good thing. He may also add tactical elements and change up some players' positions that Longmire didn't do. All the other 40-point loss teams had the same coach the next year, so Cox's presence is a significant difference. The review is the other element. The Bulldogs, for example, did not review the 2021 grand final, something revealed by Luke Beveridge after their 2022 elimination final loss, while Corns also noted Port Adelaide after their 2007 grand final only glanced over the game. We had an all-in meeting the days after the game, and we tried to address all the issues on the table that were then and there, but it wasn't enough. We didn't put it all on the line, and there wasn't enough finger pointing, so no doubt it set the club back. Cox, on the other hand, has taken the aggressive approach, and it's worth a shot. The game should be well out of the players' minds for now, but hopefully they can get those lessons and apply them in the future. Now, it's hard to know the on-field side of things, as no real games have begun, so that's something that can be looked at further down the road. Sure, the Swans might be a key back short and not have the most trustable key forward pairing in the competition, but it's a pretty strong squad overall. It's the mental side of things and these types of situations that are the real concern. It will be the backbone of Sydney's story this season and will follow them throughout the home and away campaign. No one in their position has been able to muster up a revenge campaign and come back stronger than before, so with all of history against them, can this Sydney team defy the odds?